A very good morning to dear students. Myself Professor Sapna Sharma from Modern College Business Administrative Campus BBSCA Department. So welcome back dear student once again to Artificial Intelligence course. So as into our previous session student, we have discussed a lot of stuffs basically with respect to artificial intelligence. We have underwent different terms, different various aspects, various features of artificial intelligence. Into my previous sessions, we have covered a lot of stuff with respect to the branches of artificial intelligence, or we can say one of the the field of artificial intelligence. One of them was the machine learning, which we have already covered so far. Okay, later on we have studied a lot of stuffs on the basis of various type of machine learning. Then when we talk about the last session that I have conducted was about the deep learning. That is the another important part of your artificial intelligence, or you can say the important feature of your artificial intelligence. Now, into my last session, I have explained you what is this deep learning basically, why it is so important. So just let us take a very quick revision onto it. I have mentioned you that deep learning plays a very important role. It helps us to identify the objects, the important aspect. It's like, we are doing a lot of analytical part. It is giving us a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and we use that knowledge in order to implement the application. Because without any analytical part, how you can go for any of this stuff? Because ultimately you are making the same product which is just awesome, or you can say as intelligent as human being. How you are able to do that? You really require a lot of studies, you really require a lot of analytical part, a lot of searching in order to implement such an appropriate the solution in front of you. So last time, let me just make you back. Last time we have done with the architecture of deep learning. I have already mentioned you that deep learning works onto the methodology of your brain, how your brain is being structurized, right? You are having a lot of nerves. Every nerve is playing a very important role. We are able to sense, we are able to see, we are able to hear, we are able to give actions and reactions. How it is possible? It is just possible because of the network that our brain has been having so far. That is a huge network, interconnectivity between the body part and your brain. And how it is being? It is just because of the nerves or the network that is there inside our body. The same network is being implemented into the artificial intelligence using your deep learning concept. So you are using the neural network inside it. Neural network inside it. A lot of inputs would be there, a lot of outputs would be there, and in between the input and output you would be having a various type of hidden layers. Every several layer would be doing the different stuffs. Example, if somebody comes in front of us, so what we do, first we see that person, right? And then we try to recollect that person. We try to recognize that person. How we recognize? We recognize from the feature of that person. By the face, by the eyes, by the vocal quality, anything. If somebody is calling from back, right? Hey, how are you? So we just recognize that voice, that vocal quality. And then we try to find out, ever we have heard this type of voice somewhere, somehow? If yes, then sure. Then we will try to have a conversation, we try to respond it. The same thing is being developed with the help of the deep learning. So when you talk about the architecture of deep learning, we have studied about the deep neural network that it is forming. Several levels would be there that would be forming a kind of network between each other. Then later on we have studied about the deep belief network, that we are making the surety, yes, this could be there. Like we are making a kind of things to be very much specific. Later on we are having the recurrent neural network, okay, which would be try to do the functionality in the same manner as your human brain actually do. So these all important parts are very much precious when you talk about the deep learning. Your deep learning is nothing because without these the parts. I would suggest you people to just try to grasp the important things. I will suggest you people to hear the things very much perfectly, so that you should understand how it is moving on, because this is a very difficult thing. It is not that easy concept basically. So let me move on to the next part of this particular video, that are what are the various type of deep learning. So the very first type or part of deep learning is feed forward neural network. So basically we would be talking about the neural network that are being used into the deep learning. The very first type is the feed forward neural network. Now what is this feed forward neural network? It's feed forward neural network is none other than an artificial neural network which ensure that a node do not form the cycle, dear student. It should not form a kind of loop. We are making the things to happen to move into the forward, but it should not come to it should not come to the place where it has been started. You all know about the loop, right? Where we have started, we will be ending the things over there. No, this shouldn't happen into this. All the perceptor means what? Uh, the input generators, all the perceptors are organized within the layer. They would be organized into the specific format, so that they should not form a kind of layers or a kind of loops basically, such that the input layer takes the input and the output layer generates the output. Means there should be the bifurcation basically. It should not happen the things are not working perfectly. Everyone should have their own responsibility, and they should work with respect to that responsibility. The layer which is going for a input, they should perform only the input thing. The things where the layers which are going for the output purpose, they should form the output. All the nodes are connected with completely they are connected. There is no breakage actually, and there is no what you can say, a single break into that severe or the sequential manners, whichever things are going on. They are forming a very good chain, but that is not a looping chain. Next important things that comes under our mind, where we are using this feed forward neural network. What are the applications? The first one is the data compression. You do the data compression, right? You do a data compression. You try to squeeze your particular data. You do, because sometimes what happen, if we are making any xyz file, that file is having a lot of data, so it is very much difficult for us to manage it out, right? So what we people do, we try to compress it, we try to squeeze it. Later on we try to recognize the pattern. People do this thing a lot when you go for any aptitude, right? There are pattern recognition type of problem, right? Every time the you are just recognizing this is the sequence, now next sequence would be like that. You just make your mind, you just understand the pattern, and after understanding you just feed it into your mind, and later on you use that same concept again and again in order to solve the problem. Third one is computer visions. Later on there are the sonar target recognition, there is the speech recognition also. Whatever you people speak, that would be recognized by someone. Everyone just try to grasp what you're telling, right? They're understanding the way you people speak, what type of words you people are using, what is the flow of your speech. Everything is recognized. Handwritten character recognition, yes, these are the technologies that actually being used into the various forms, where you people use into the various forms actually. Handwritten character recognition, we find out it, right? We use it in order to just find out there is any kind of issues. We find out it into the some of the governmental firms, basically into the crime branch and something like that, in order to solve any problems, specific problems. So in handwritten character recognition, we are just thinking about this is the pattern of which person, like basically how we should able to find out who has written this text. We are able to do that also. We just find out the pattern, how people use the these keys onto your keyboard. Keystroke is also a kind of what you can say, it is also being recognized. It be able to understand how you people type. Basically there is a very different type of typing, you can say the typing style. Everyone is not typing in the same manner, everyone is having the different way of typing skills. So that is also being recognized. When we come to the next part, the next type of neural network scenario into the deep learning, that is a recurrent neural network. Now what happened into this? Each of the neurons present in the hidden layer receive an input with a specific delay in time. What is delay in time? There is a shorter, there would be an interval. Okay, thoda delay hona, delay means thoda late hona. So there would be some delay time slot. Every input would be received. Every hidden layer would be receiving an input, and on the basis of receiving that input, they will find out there is some differentiate. Now how to differentiate? We will be differentiating on the basis of the delay into the time of receiving that particular input. So the recurrent neural network mainly accesses the preceding info of existing iteration. We are thinking about the existing things. They try to grasp the information on the basis of the things which are into the existence. What is the example? Example is like to guess the succeeding words in any sentence. Succeeding words means what? Okay, like which word would be next to come. One must have the knowledge about the words that were previously used. If we know what type of words we have used previously, then only we try to make out the another words which we will be using in future. So you should have the knowledge about both the things, the predecessors and the successors. What you have spoken earlier and what you will be speaking in future or ahead. That you need to understand, because that would be a kind of pause that you people are taking. Now let me move on to the next part. It is not only processes the input but also shares the length as well as the weight cross way the time. Means it will tell you how long that statement is. Okay, and what type of length, the size actually, the size of those characters into one particular frame. So the job of the recurrent neural network is not only to just think about the input, but it will think about the characters, it will think about the length, it will talk about the capacity of the words basically. So it does not let the size of the model to increase with increase in the input size. Yes, it should not happen like that. The model, okay, we would be applying all those aspects onto one specific model, right? A prototype model. So we don't want the size of the model should increase. If we are increasing the size of model, then it could be like, it would be less optimized. No matter the size of input is getting increased, but my model should not get impacted onto it. I should, the thing should be like, it should be designed in such a manner that if we go for n number of input, it should not lead any impact onto the model's responding frequency. The result orientation frequency should not get degraded. अभी कैसा होता है कि लाइक एक मॉडल है या फिर कोई एप्लीकेशन है, उस एप्लीकेशन के ऊपर आप ऑपरेशंस परफॉर्म करते जा रहे हो, there is certain specific capacity, right, that can be bared by that particular application. After that capacity, the application will file everything like down. I cannot go more. So what will happen in that case? In that case, what will happen? The application will become down. This should not happen. So this is being taken care by your recurrent neural network. However, the only problem with the recurrent is what? Slow computation speed, obviously. Because वो क्या चाहता है? वो मॉडल को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं देना चाहता और उसकी इनपुट्स की भी रेटिंग इंक्रीज हो रही है. So it would be leading to the computation speed would be automatically let down. क्यों? क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली बात है ना कि जब इनपुट्स अगर इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं तो फिर उनका अकम्प्लिशमेंट भी उतना ही ज्यादा टाइम लेगा. 10 की जगह अगर मेरे पास में 20 इनपुट आ रहे हैं तो इट विल टेक टाइम टू प्रोसेस ऑल द 20. Perfect or not? So that is also mandatory so far, dear students. Okay, now let me move on to the next part. What are the various type of applications that are taking the use of the recurrent neural network? The point number 1 is the machine translation. The translator machines are being used to translate the form from one part to the another. Robot control is there. Time series prediction, speak recognition, speech synthesis. Speech synthesis means what? How to generate. Later on, is there any kind of anomaly means what? A kind of error or a problem. So we are using it for the purpose of detecting the anomaly. Then rhythm learning, we use it into the music and all. Then music composition uses this recurrent neural network, dear student, where there is a series of things, right? There is a series of inputs. Every time there is a series of input, and there are a lot of inputs. The system should not get down. That is the most important thing. Next is convolutional neural network. Now, convolutional neural network means what? It is a very special kind of neural network, and this is being used when you talk about the image classification, when you talk about the clusterings of images and the object recognition. Now, image classification means what? You're classifying the image. What type of image it is? Clustering means what? I am just combining them. And object recognition means what? I am recognizing the objects which are there inside your image. So, in order to achieve the best out of best, we use this. In order to make our image classification best, then we use convolutional neural network. So rather than going for the recurrent or rather than going for the deep neural network, we will go for the convolutional when we talk about the accuracy. AI की functionalities एकदम accurate होनी चाहिए, तो उनके लिए उनके types, उनकी functionalities भी तो उतनी appropriate होनी चाहिए, right? So where are the applications? The applications are like in order to identify the faces, image identify कर रहे हो, right? Street signs, yes. आपको रास्ते याद रहते हैं, right? You understand, yes, मैं last time we were here. We know this place. How you people know this place? Because that the path, the specific landline remarks and all there are, those are feeded inside your mind because you were having that into like you were having that type of thinking that I should remember all these, right? Image recognition is there. How you are able to recognize the people? Because you frame the a pictorial value inside your mind. Video analysis is there. How you come to know that you have seen this video? अब आपके दिमाग में रहता है ना, सिस्टम तो हर बार आपको हिस्ट्री नहीं बताएगा, बट हाउ यू विल कम टू नो यस मैंने ये वीडियो देखा है, दैट इज ऑल्सो देयर. द नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग यूजेस दिस convolutional neural network, then drug discovery, then finding out the errors, then games. In games also we use it, then we use it into the forecasting, time series forecasting. So they are being used into the area which अब तक ये सारे areas तुमको पता भी नहीं होंगे, but now you are able to, because we are learning that type of technology now. So you can imagine how vast it is. It is so vast you cannot go for. Next important type is auto encoders. Now what is this auto encoders? What do you mean? Encoders से तो आपको पता ही लग गया होगा. Like I am just translating my things from one form to the another. I am making it into the coded version so that nobody should be able to understand it. And auto means what? Automatically it should be done. What exactly it is? Like it is, I am just telling into the in general, but what exactly it is? So it is a kind of learning algorithm only, machine learning algorithm it is, but it is an unsupervised machine learning algorithm where you are having abundant of data, but none of the data is the labeled data so far. None of the data is the labeled data basically. You are using abundant of data, but the data is not labeled so far. Now, how exactly take place? The number of hidden cells are there. They are so small that you cannot imagine also. They are very much small. But the number of input cell is equivalent to the number of the output cell. Means both the cells are equivalent to each other. The rate at which you are just generating the input, at the same rate the output would be also there, in the same range. So this will make sure that you are getting the output for each and every input basically, right? Okay, this is known as some of the things inside it. So auto encoders are mainly used for small representation of the input, means small representations, the very fine parts of your input. It helps in reconstruction of the original data. जो आपने compressed किया था उस डेटा का रिकंस्ट्रक्शन होता है, right? You are compressing, but when we decompress the thing, when we try to make the things from compression to the original form, at that time you can use it, because there when you are decompressing the things, you are making the things to get back out of the from the from the compressed part to the original part. At the time you have to think about the small parts also. You have to think about the small data also. No, you people just compress your particular image. When you compress your image, the quality of the image get degraded, and you really don't want that. So if you really want to retain back the quality of your image, you have to understand, you have to make a use of these type of technologies. So this algorithm is comparatively very much simple when as compared to other technologies, and it is very much good also. It try to grasp the originality. It try to make everything back to the original form. Next. So when you talk about the auto encoders, so you use these two terms, encoders and decoders. Encoders means what? Convert input data into low dimensional. Means I am just converting the thing. I am just making the things to be like, converted into small stuff. And when you talk about the decoders, means it reconstruct the things. Encoding translate the things, and retranslation is being done with the help of the decoders. So in encoders we try to do the compression, whereas in decoders we try to reconstruct the compressed data basically so far. Okay, so let me just move on to the next part. What are the various type of applications that you have to consider? Application number one is the classification. Okay, classification, you are using it into these are the various type of techniques that you people are using. Classification means bifurcation you are doing. You are classifying the paths, the input parts, the output parts, everything. Then clustering is there. Clustering is also kind of a type of technique that we use, and this all we have already studied into the machine learning. We already have a code, we already have a recent trendy technologies where we have studied about the classification and clustering and how to go for the feature compressions, how to make out the things. You do the classifications, right? How you do the classifications? Using the application, you try to classify which type of product it is, what type of thing is it is. And clustering means what? You are just making a branch, or you are making a groupism, so that you try to execute the things into the one instant only. Feature compression is also there, right? Next, when you talk about the deep learning applications, so basically we should know about the deep learning applications also, dear student. So the very first deep learning application is the self-driving car. Everyone knows about the self-driving car. If you really don't know how to drive the car, so this would help you a lot into that. Okay, now how the self-driving car do it? It is able to capture the image. Around it's processing a huge amount of data. Means it capture the images, it uses the huge amount of data which is there around that particular car. It captures the data in order to make the decisions, and on the basis of the images, on the basis of the huge amount of data that is being taken by the self-driving car, it will try to make the actions, it will try to make the decision, so that that car can drive itself, whether to take left, whether to take right, whether need to stop, whether need to go straight, what to do, right? The second important point, the second application is voice controlled assistance. When we talk about the voice control assistant, then the very specific the application that comes in our mind is that Siri. So what do? So you can tell Siri whatever you want to do, okay, and that thing will be in front of you. Whatever you will speak, whatever you want, you just have to speak that thing in front of Siri and you will be able to get it. That particular stuff would be there in front of you into a display manner. Whether it is a song, whether it's a movie, whether it's any kind of knowledgeable content, whatever. Next is automatic image caption generation. Means taking the image and automatically, the caption, right? Caption is just kind of an attribute information, an additional information about that stuff. Why you use the caption? You use the caption so that the person should able to understand what exactly it is. So automatic image caption generation, whenever image that you upload, the algorithm will work. Okay, they will find out what is that particular image, and on the basis of the image information, they will generate the caption, they will generate the certain information about that image. And that information would be always displayed here, on the basis of down, bottom of the image. It happens, right? It happens. I will tell you that also, you will be able to see it into the video conferencing basically. Okay, the video is going on, whatever the person is speaking, automatically that content is displayed. That content is like, it is being displayed onto the bottom of that particular video. So that is known as the automatic caption generation. So it can take place with respect to image, and it can take place with respect to the audio also. No, not audio, sorry, video. We are speaking and that particular content is coming in front of us, so that we should be able to understand what exactly this person is trying to check. And sometimes it happens like that, if this person is speaking in another language and we are not able to hear it. So there is a translation, and that translation we can see onto the bottom part. Automatic machine translation. See, with the help of automatic machine translation, we are able to convert one language into the another language. Very, very nice it is. Like for example, we go to any particular specific language where there is like no formulation of the English. Like people don't prefer speaking English or something, like they try to use their own regional languages and all. So at that time we will be using this automatic machine translation, because everyone don't know that regional language. So this particular machine will help us to translate the data, and we will be able to understand what exactly that person is telling, that speaker is telling, right? So that's it from my side, dear student. This is what about the deep learning video 2 was about. Here we have studied about the various type of the deep learning, okay, that we are using currently. Then we have underwent through the various type of applications that are being generated using the deep learning. And from this particular session, at least I can say that yes, you are aware about these stuff, these type of applications. You know how importance they are playing nowadays. Like they are playing a very important role. So you cannot neglect them. So from these sessions, you are able to understand how much importance this artificial intelligence technology has gathered. Like in the after few years, you will find out that everywhere artificial intelligence is there. Everyone is using the automatic intelligence power. You don't have to think twice time also. The things would be generated like that only. Yes, and they would be more accurate. And after coming so after just coming to this particular step, you must have recognized, dear student, data is playing a very important role. Everyone needs the data in order to do any of these tasks. So data is just like a very precious thing, just like your jewels, just like your gold, silver, platinum. Now data is above these gold, silver, platinum. If you have the data, then you are the king of this world. You can use that data anywhere at any instant of time. So thank you so very much, students. Let me see you into the very next session of Artificial Intelligence course. Take care and be safe. Thank you.